unfortunately, I'm not good at putting my tools away when I finish working on something, so before I start working on something, I usually have to put my tools away from the prior job. That is one thing I like to do, though. I hate to start another project with a whole different set of tools while there's still a set of tools out from your previous project. I'm out here in my pajama pants in the work trailer, just doing a couple little small repairs that I needed. What I'm going to be doing today is got a generator that a friend of mine, I guess, bought, quote-unquote brand new. I don't know if it was a store return or what the deal was with it, but I guess it ran great when he bought it, but he let it sit for a little bit, and now it doesn't start. So, we're going to go ahead and go through the process of what I would do to make something start that's not running. See if we can't figure it out. I don't think it's sat long enough where it's actually initiate the fuel. I think it's maybe spark related. Could be oil related. Sometimes the oil's a little low and there's a like a tip sensor, a low oil shutoff type deal that if the oil pressure gets low or non-existent, it's not reading any oil pressure, it will kill the spark and shut the machine down, which ultimately saves its life, so you don't run it without oil. That's the intention. But unfortunately they can fail too and give you no spark when you really should have spark and work against you. So we're going to investigate all of these things, and I'll show you how to test for them. For those that don't know already. But this could apply to basically any lawnmower, weed whacker, basically anything with an engine. Got your simple steps. You're going to check for fuel, spark, and air. And all those have to be at the right time. Timing's usually the last of the issues, especially on something, a simple machine such as small power equipment. You don't have like a serviceable, so to speak, timing chain or anything like that. Usually it's just gear on gear, and the failure rate is pretty much nil. So I don't think that's going to become a problem, but worth a mention, because depending on what you're working on, the timing might be your issue. But usually it's fuel related or spark related. Those are your two biggest things that happen, especially nowadays with the newer fuels that you get at the gas pump. The ethanol actually absorbs water, and it's not good for sitting in fuel systems. Here's a tip: if you ever do spark plugs and spark plug wires, when you replace a set of spark plug wires, pull off these little boots and save them. These are always great, if you need them on another set of spark plug wires, if they melt or something, but they're a great spark plug starter. When you go to reach down, if you're working on like a car engine or something, you can just stick it in there and then you can kind of give it a twist to get it started so you don't end up cross-threading it. So I always save those. Kind of got like a whole drawer full of them. And this is kind of what I wanted to do, is talk a little bit as I'm putting my tools away, because each tool kind of tells a little bit of a story as I'm putting it away. Because it was out for a reason. But yeah, this trailer's been working out really well. It's allowed me to stay organized and keep all my stuff in one place and have it where I need it when I need it, which is great. And I've done a ton of work already using it. Couldn't find my spark plug gapper and I needed 60 thousandths of an inch, so I ended up taking two
pieces off of my feeler gauge. I took a 25 thousandths and a 35 thousandths, and that equals 60 thousandths together. And then I just put them together, and then I use that to gap the spark plug. Sometimes you don't always have the exact tool you need, so you improvise. But that's a little trick if you don't have the right size. You take apart your feeler gauges. You know, sometimes you don't even have to take them apart. You can just find two that equal the number that you're looking for and pull them out of the selection and put them together. So, alright, so we're about down to a empty bench. So we can get going on our next, or I should say our first project of the day. And what that is going to be is a Craftsman generator. Again, that's the one that I just mentioned won't start. Now, I haven't tried to start it. I'm not going to try to start it just because I could flood it. I could end up, most likely it's a waste of time. Most people don't bring, well, I shouldn't say that. Should say most people don't bring you things that are not broken, but sometimes that does happen. You know, it's only broken when the mechanic's there to look at it, you know?
Alright, so this is our piece of equipment that we're working on. It's a Craftsman, nice little, I believe this is an inverter generator, being how small it is. Very similar to the ones at Harbor Freight that you can get. Yeah, 3000 eyes, so I'm assuming it's an inverter generator. I'm sure it says it on here somewhere. But this looks very similar to, I believe they have a 3500 that's a little bigger than this. I forgot what the brand name is of Harbor Freight's, but these are really quiet. Great little generators if you've never used one in comparison to, you know, the contractor style ones. So for starters, I pulled that top off and you can see we're on the top of the motor. There's the valve cover and the spark plugs right here. And then this looks like the oil right here. So let me go ahead and bring you in. So for starters, I'm just going to check the oil. I believe these, you do not screw them in to check, but I'm not 100% positive, but I'm going to try that first. Okay, not screwing it in to check, it's showing it low, so maybe this is a screw in to check. That's probably going to show it high, or... Okay, this is made by Generac Power Systems. It's actually a large company of generators, so it's probably a nice unit. All right, we're still showing about halfway. Very clean oil. Definitely looks like brand new. So there's that. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull the spark plug, which is right up here on the top. Got the spark plug cap. Looks like a 3/4 inch spark plug. I believe 13/16. Yep, 13/16. Looking at the spark plug is going to tell us a lot. It's going to tell us if it's got new water, if it's been smoking, burning oil, if it's flooded. All right, so we're looking pretty good there. See if my focus is working correctly. Looks clean. It smells a little like water, or like a little bit of bad gas with water. I've found these torch spark plugs are pretty crappy. Seen a lot of these fail. A lot of people use these, I think, in a lot of these Chinese engines. Just going to have a little look down inside the cylinder here. Pull the pull start. Get a look at the piston. Piston is moving. It's giving me a whiff of bad gas. All right, so what I'm going to do is check for spark, because no matter how many times you pull it, if you don't have spark, it's not going to start. So I'm going to go ahead and shut the lights off in here and get you guys in here, and hopefully it will come up on video here. Depending on the frame rate and whatnot, I believe we should be able to get it. And let's see if we've got some type of shut off. Okay, there's off, there's run. So in the run position, we should have spark. All right, so let's put your spark plug right there. It's touching the ground, the motor, so we should see a spark coming out of there. Yes. Hopefully that's showing up. Got a nice bright spark. So that tells me our issue is fuel related, as I suspected right from the beginning. Let's put our lights back on here. So let's put our spark plug back in. And let me get a whiff of what's in the gas tank. My guess at this point is they put gas in it and it either sat there and went bad, or they grabbed a gas can that had some crappy gas in it, or water in the gas, and it just never started. Yep, it's definitely bad smelling gas. It's got like a watery smell. It's hard to explain, I guess, if you haven't experienced it before. So we're gonna see, this is the pull start side. I'm gonna go ahead and pull one of these side covers off and get a little better. Let's get a better look at the fuel system in this. And it's a very similar motor, or engine I should say, to the Harbor Freight unit that I had. You can tell this thing's pretty much like brand new. I don't think it's even ever run, to be honest with you. Starting to wonder if it has ever run, but I mean, you can see inside this thing. It's like brandy new. So we'll see. Here's our carburetor right here. So what I'm going to do is get our little drain. Let's see what kind of fuel we get from the carburetor. All right, let's see what we get out of here. This is just the bowl drain to get the fuel out of the drain. And I could tell you right now there's water in it. You can see how cloudy it is, and I'll show you how you can tell. Gonna go ahead and keep draining that right out. I'm going to stop it just for a second and show you. All right, this is what we're getting. You can see how cloudy and dirty it looks. That's like little water droplets that the ethanol has trapped onto, and it becomes like a slimy mess and clogs stuff up. See the little water droplets moving back and forth down there? So that's definitely got some water in it. So we're going to start with completely removing this fuel. It doesn't have a clean fuel supply inside. It's never going to run right until that is. So what we're probably going to do is go ahead and pull this bowl right off, and let's see what the bowl looks like, because there's probably bits trapped inside of it. And we don't just want to get it running, we want to get it running well. So looks like an air filter right here. Yeah, this thing is brand new. I don't think it's ever run. This is a similar thing that you might find on like as-is clearance at Harbor Freight or some of these stores that people return them just because they couldn't get them running. They may sit, and this is all it takes is a little bit of love to get them running, and they'll be just as reliable as a brand new one at that point. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remove this this drain hose from the bottom bowl. So that's now separate. Kind of get this up out of the way. Gives us a better visual. I don't know how this air filter is connected on here, but it looks like I might be able to sneak the bowl out without it. So let's see. So we're going to put this back to off because I believe that also stops the flow of fuel. Actually, let me put this back on just for a minute and check that, because I don't want to spill fuel everywhere. This now should stop. I believe this has a fuel shutoff built in to the knob. Usually they do. Maybe this one doesn't. No, it's still flowing. So let me let's open up the other side, see what we got access to on that. Let's see what we got on the other side. Okay, so yes, there is a fuel shutoff. You can see this little mechanism right here. That's on the back side of the knob right here. So not only does this shut the spark off, it also shuts the flow of fuel off and the feed into the carburetor right there. So that will eventually stop running, which I would have known by now had I just kept doing what I was doing, but didn't want to waste time. So we're just going to leave this disconnected for now in case we need to get into this side, but all right, let's just continue getting the rest of this out. Make sure I'm back on. Yep, I'm on off. Once this is completely empty, which is pretty much now. Oh, there's still more coming out. And it looks like about a 12 millimeter wrench on the bottom of that bowl. Scratch that. 10 millimeter wrench. Now that I say that, watch, it's going to be an 11. Nope, 10. You can see we got no more fuel coming out of here, so disconnect this back up where we had it. Let's get it up out of the way. There we go. Now we should be able to get this bowl off. It's going to be fun to try to screw that nut back in. It's such a tight space, but it's where your magnets come in handy. There's our little bowl bolt. Now we got the bowl right here, which is going to be nice and challenging to get out with this air cleaner assembly in the way. That apparently unbolts from the front, which is not looking like it's going to be any fun to get to. So I'm going to try to just be a little creative. Creative slash frustrated, right? Boy, she just does not want to come off there without removing this. And the only thing I can see is in there. I don't know if there's an easy way to get through the front. Boy, they really want you to disassemble that. That's ridiculous to be able to take this bowl off. Stupid design. All right, well, give this a little more prying. A little prying action without breaking. That's what we want. There we go. I knew this hose was just gonna keep bothering us. So yeah, that's what I figured down in the bottom of the bowl. Hopefully you can see that. Let me get you over in the light. See all that sediment and crap. That will clog up your main jet really quickly. All it takes is a little bit of that. Turns into like a gel. And that'll stop your fuel from getting in. It becomes particles. So that has to be completely clean, perfect, for this thing to run right. Even if we got it running with that stuff in there, it would have had a mind of its own and would have cut out. So take a little bit of carburetor cleaner, spray it out. I'm going to do this outside so I don't have to smell the fumes. That gives us a nice clean bowl. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the quality of the gas, see if we can put this up to the light now. So you can see all that crap in there. That was all inside the bowl. There's no way that's going to run with that. And that's your new ethanol fuels, and that's what it does, unfortunately. So much of this equipment out there that I swear they did it just to make electric motors be more appealing. So the only other thing I'm going to do is go ahead and pull this little pin out and drop our needle and seat in our float. Just to make sure that they're nice and clean. And we're going to throw a little air up in there. Just to blow out any residual that's in there. It's too new to have issues yet. Sorry about that air compressor. Now on most equipment, you just take this carburetor right off to do this. But especially these generators, they pack the stuff in so tight, it becomes a bear to work on. So you just work around it while it's in there, and that's what I usually do. You end up spending so much time. If we can get this bowl back on without breaking anything. Nice. Now we just got the challenge of starting that nut. Get this completely out of the way so it's not a factor. Get something to hold that up really well. Like so. Just like that. And gonna use me some fancy wrenching in hopes to get this started. I think if I use a ratchet wrench might be my best shot at this. Okay, I got it under there. Now I just gotta hold the ratchet so it doesn't back. There we go. Hopefully I'll be able to get the wrench out once I get up to where I need to be. Bring this back. I think it was kind of like that angle right there, I believe. Sweet. All right. That wasn't so bad. All right, now what I'm going to do, hook up our drains back to how they were. Right there and right there. Oops. That's very tight. Okay. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this outside and I'm going to tip it upside down and pour that fuel out that's in the tank. And we're going to put some fresh fuel in. And let's see how that works. All right, so I put that upside down, drained it all out. Went ahead and added some fresh fuel. Just going to put the air filter back on here. Give it its best chance at a long life. Looking good, no leaks. So I'm going to leave this cover off in case we need to go back in, but I am going to tighten up this side because I don't want to lose these screws. And the pull handle goes through it, so I don't want to break something there. Put our cap back off. And a lot of people don't realize this, that you know how these tethered caps kind of get in your way sometimes when you're pouring gas in or out of it? These can usually be pulled right out. If you look down inside, there's just some type of plastic mechanism that actually holds it, that you just collapse it and it goes down through the mouth of the opening of the tank. and that just keeps it so you don't lose the cap, but now you can take it off when you need to. So, all right, we're gonna go out and see what happens. I think that's all that's gonna be, to be honest with you. And let's see if I'm right. Make sure you have your proper equipment starting pants on. My pajama pants and my slippers that I'm working with here. Sure I'll get a laugh at that, but let's see what we got. This may be a fail, this may not be a fail. I don't know. What do we got here for a start? We got no choke. We got a choke. Yeah, we got choke right there. On and off. What is this? On and off. Economy mode. We don't need that. So that's it. Just choke and give her some pulls. Let's go ahead and vent it that way. And let's see what we get. Look at that. Second pull. There's choke. And then on run. And I swear to you guys, this thing did not run. Runs like a top. Well, I figured this was going to be an easy video, but it's also a common video. And I think there's a lot of equipment out there that could be brought back to life just with this. And the process is very similar. So don't be afraid to save yourself some money. And if somebody's like, oh, it ran, it's just been sitting with old gas, this is usually all it takes to get it running again. And that's why I want to do a video on it and save you guys maybe a few bucks if you could pick something up like this fairly cheap. I don't know what my buddy paid for this, but I'm assuming it was a deal. Because again, it was like new. Now, I don't know if my buddy was the one that put the bad gas, or maybe it was running fine and then he added the gas and that's when it went bad. I don't know, but she runs good now. She's all topped off with some fresh fuel. And go ahead and call them up and tell them it's all set to tick. And that's it for this video. I'm not going to put my tools away because why would I do that? As I told you, I'll wait till next time. Now I'm actually going to put my tools away this time just because I just cleaned them up. But it is kind of funny how I don't put them away until I start a project rather than ending it. Because it's usually because I'm in some type of rush because something broke down and I need to get back on the road. And usually my day dictates that. But today, it's the weekend. I'm just kicking around doing some odds and ends, and I got the time. Even though I should always make the time, I definitely have the time right now. Man, I can never get the pry bar down right. I always grab the wrong drawers every single time. I had the toolbox set up like this for like 2 years. I still do it wrong. Muscle memory to something else. I don't know what it is, but yeah, that wasn't so bad. All right, a little bit of old fuel. Get another good look at that. See how cloudy and nasty it is. And that's usually what the problem is. All right, guys, have a good one. See you in the next video.